when there is no more room in hell.
Well, sometimes that is better.
The dead will walk the earth.
Hey guys, all right. Welcome to episode 12, Shambling Horror Podcast. Sorry I missed a week. I've honestly had a ton going on. I've got a new job and I'm still going to school and there's just a ton of stuff going on. I plan on sticking on the weekly podcast schedule. Things should be a lot more normal now. This week was just kind of crazy. Yeah, I got a new job, guys. I got a new job. But we got a lot to talk about this week. We're going to go over We're Alive Chapter 2. I'm going to try not to do any spoilers. I just a general sort of what I thought about the episode and whatnot. So yeah, We're Alive Chapter 2. I think it was the Survivors of 590. We'll get into that. And then we're going to go over Zomboat, which came out, I think at the end, well, it came out 2019. I never heard of it. Somebody put me onto it. I cannot wait. I watched the first episode. I'm really excited to watch the rest of it. I feel like I have a feel for how this is going to go. This one, they did announce, I think it was recently that it was canceled, although I don't care. Hopefully somebody else will pick it up. And then we're going to go over Sevenland. I always call it Sevenland. Sevenland Productions, which does a bunch of cool stuff. It's an audio drama company. I've already listened to one of their series. I'm actually really I'm really excited to listen to another one. We'll go over that. House of the Dead remake. I need to search through this article again. So it came out on the Switch. We're gonna talk about that because they review it. But then also, we got some PC. I think they actually released it. There's some more news on that, so we'll talk about that. And then we're gonna go over this article, which I'm gonna have a lot of opinions on. It's a Resident Evil Netflix series, a live action series. It was an interview, which we'll talk about that. All right, guys. So again, welcome to the show. I love you guys. Thank you guys. Oh, as always, don't forget to leave me a good review if you guys like my content. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate all you guys wherever you get my podcast. YouTube, Spotify, Apple, Google, wherever. Stitcher, Podcast Fairyland, wherever. I don't know. All right, cool. So, all right. So We're Alive Descendants Chapter 2, Survivors of 590. So if you're not aware, we talk about it every week on the show. We're Alive's really cool. It's like a apocalypse, kind of zombies. I don't really know how to describe that. Radio drama, super dope. It's been around for more than a decade. They have different seasons that they have multiple, tons and tons of episodes. It's on Spotify. It's pretty much everywhere you can get a podcast. And they just released their new season, We're Alive Descendants. They do their episode releases every other week. And it's funny because I said that they do them on, it's funny because I always said that they do them on, so they are Tuesday. I'm not crazy. I think previously I said Monday or Wednesday, but yeah, they are Tuesdays. So, and they do them every other week. So look out for that on Tuesdays. I don't know what time they release them, but I know I always listen to them on, I want to say it's either Tuesday or Tuesday night. So the next episode, since they had one on the 19th, will be out on the 3rd. That'll be next Tuesday. Or I guess Monday or Wednesday. It depends on where you live, I guess. Depending on whatever time they release it. So look out for that. So we're going to go over that today. So I really enjoyed Chapter 2. We're Alive Descendants Chapter 2, Survivors of 590. I really, 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 really enjoyed it. So listen, there was a bunch of character building in the first one. They gave us a little bit of zombie, a little bit of zombie, right? And they also gave us some political intrigue, and there was some other stuff going on and some character building. And I was a little afraid that it was going to go to a lot more character building and because we're in the future here. A lot of the characters are old. They're old. I want to say, we joked about it in the Discord, but I want to say Bert is 80 or something crazy, right? And he's my favorite character. He's in his 70s. because this is 20 some odd years after I think the first series started. So, and Bert was, I think they said officially like 57 or 60 when the series started. Bert's this gruff, old, like, crusty veteran guy. But anyway, so, like, we got new characters, right? And I was very scared that, like, this, and there's, like, some political craziness going on, and I was afraid we were going to get a ton more of that, and not, like, more of the zombie stuff, the really interesting, like, creature stuff they introduced in the first episode. Like, it would have been great. I would have listened to it, but like my personal like bias, I just want some more zombie stuff. It's like the same thing that happens to The Walking Dead. They'll do like episodes that are like really important for character building and like political intrigue and stuff, but I'm like, I just want some more zombies. They gave us more zombies this time. A lot. It's actually really cool. Without spoiling it, seriously, this episode made me feel like I was watching The Predator. That's all I can describe it as. It was awesome. They ratchet up the tension like all the way, like boop, 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 boop. They ratchet it all the way up. It was really good. So basically, without spoiling anything, you have a situation where in the first one, there is a group of people, it's essentially a cult, and they're digging around for something. We don't know what they're digging around for. And they find something and they uncover it, and we theoretically, I guess, it escapes. They let it loose. That's the conversations I've been having in the community and stuff. That's what everybody's been saying, that they basically let it out. And we're assuming it's some kind of mutation or evolution of the creatures from the first series. And based on, so in the first episode, one of the, and this is based on conversation. I need to go back and listen to it again, but one of the people, I guess, describes the creatures as black as coal. And then in the second but in chapter 2, I don't really want to ruin it, but they're described as dark as coal, like they're dark, like they're like pitch black, like black, which is horrifying. I could not imagine if I walked out of my house at night and there were just like black shadows running around. I would be like, nope. I'm going back in the house. I'm going to go back in the crib, shut the door, turn all the lights on. But yeah, so they basically, you have the situation where you have a group who goes to investigate some things. And what I found really interesting about this episode is it seems like there's certain characters who know a lot more about what's going on. And then you have some other characters who are just like, I don't know nothing. Like one of the characters literally is like, someone tell me something. Holy shit. Like no one tells him nothing. It's actually like, it's going to become a meme. But yeah, it's awesome. So they sort of go and they don't know what they're about to come across. And then they find another group of survivors, some older characters who you guys are familiar with, who I won't ruin it. And they were on basically a helicopter out there doing something, and it wrecked. And some people in the helicopter knew that was out there, and some of them didn't. And so they were like, who the hell is 590? Like, who the hell is that? And why the hell are they out here? And then you find out who they are, and you're like, whoa, because it's like some main character stuff. So they have a run-in with them, and then the shit basically goes to hell. Like, I'm not going to spoil nothing. It was very, 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 very good. There was tons of, like, information dropped, and, like, you find out, like, you get to meet a whole nother faction. There's, like, a whole nother faction of, like, bad guys and stuff. Super, super, super cool. Again, I really liked chapter 2 because they pushed a lot of the zombie stuff. Like, the first episode was a little bit of half and half, and the second episode was, like, a ton of creatures and zombie stuff. We'll see if they keep that up. I mean, obviously they got to do all the political stuff with the different factions, and something happens to Michael in the first episode and the implications of that and who did that and all of that. But yeah, super, super, super good again so far. It's been great. like I said, I highly recommend the show. I'm sure there will be like a filler episode. There usually is, you know what I mean, with stuff like this where I'll just be like, yeah, it was okay. I don't give these number ratings. I never do. I just recommend it. Like I said, listening to this was literally like listening to Predator, like on audio tape. It was really good. And I'm not going to spoil nothing else. I am really interested going into chapter 3 on Tuesday or Wednesday, I guess, if we're going to get anything more with the, this other group of, I guess, yeah, they are everybody's survivor, but it's like this group of, bandits? I don't really know how to describe them, that are aware, like, they're aware of who they're fussing with, right? So it's like, it'll be interesting to see how that goes down. There's like I don't know if it's a bad guy, but it's like their leader character or whatever you kind of hear, and it's cool. So yeah, so it's really neat, guys. Highly, highly recommend it. Again, We're Alive podcast. Check it out. It's amazing. You can get it on Spotify. That's where I usually get it. So next. So I don't know if I can get a show of hands in the chat or maybe in the comments when I put this on YouTube or send me a message in Discord. So I have never watched this. This is what's amazing about being in like Discord communities and things. It's funny. It says in the coming weeks, this will be okay. Okay. I care about that. All right. So exit. Jeez. All right. So, it's called Zomboat. When I first heard the name for this, I thought it was a joke. I said, what? It came out in 2019. What's crazy is like, I'm pretty, like, I got my finger on like zombie stuff, or I have in the past. Like, I listen to, watch everything I can get my hands on. And for whatever reason, I never watched this. It might be because I think it was on, it was in the UK. It was on ITV2. I don't know what that is. And then it was on Hulu in October. So I'm really surprised that I've never, it might be because I'm like in the States and I have Hulu, and a lot of times sometimes they like region lock stuff where, like if you get a VPN, I know with Netflix, if you get a VPN, you can watch like international shows that we just don't get here. They're just region locked. I don't really understand why it gets stupid. Maybe it's a server thing. Like, they don't have the server capacity just to give us all of it. I don't really know. But, I mean, there's tons of stuff on the BBC I would watch if they let us have it here. It just seems stupid. I mean, if somebody can explain that in my chat or the comments, explain it to me. Or DM me, because I don't get it. So, yeah. So, it's out on Hulu. I watched the first episode. I want to watch the rest of this tonight. Maybe tonight, tomorrow. Basically, your premise is there's, like, this really spooky, like, just a zombie apocalypse, run in the middle like zombie apocalypse, and in the UK, and then it's in Birmingham, and then they basically get on a boat, on a canal boat, like a really like slow boat, and they're like cruising along, and they get into antics, and it's really funny. The first episode was great. It reminds me a lot, obviously. Everyone's just gonna say it looks a lot like the Shaun of the Dead, which is fine because it's great. I don't have a problem with like, it's like when people are like, oh yeah, like, Genshin Impact is just a Zelda clone, bro. It's like Breath of the Wild. And it's like, well, I love Breath of the Wild. So like, can I just have more of that? Like, I'd love to play Genshin Impact or or whatever it is, Immortals Phoenix Rising or like whatever, right? Like, who cares? I love that. Like, it's like, oh, I like to listen to Metallica. Oh, this band sounds like Metallica. I want to listen to them. I don't give a damn if it's like it's a copy or whatever. Who cares? It sounds cool, right? It's like what I like. So, yeah, a lot like Shaun of the Dead. It's very like tongue-in-cheek, sort of like, zombie. I mean, it's like scary, but it's like, it's hilarious. There's a bunch of pop culture references like "Come with me if you want to live" and like all this like really funny stuff. Like, it's great. I mean, I don't think it's gonna like change cinema forever, right? Like, it's fun. It's a fun show. Yeah, it's called Zomboat. I guess they just announced it was canceled, which sucks. Hopefully somebody picks it up, but I'll be watching series 1. Hopefully you guys do too. Zomboat, Zomboat. It's fun. Once I finish it, I'll obviously let you guys know what I think of the series, but no, it's cool. I don't know if any of these actors have been anything else. I don't really recognize any of the characters, but I think a lot of it's this is in the UK, so they might be in like other stuff. But yeah, highly recommend Zomboat. So far, it's been really great. So next, I want to talk about Sevenland Productions. So I was made aware of Tower 4, which I kind of want to do some more research and find out if Tower 4 came before or after Firewatch, because if you guys have never played Firewatch, it was this really good game. I want to say it was an indie game, but I don't remember. I remember the developer is a bit of an asshole. I'll just say that. I don't care. Nobody owns me. I just remember the guy that developed Firewatch was kind of a real jerk on Twitter to like a lot of people. He's just kind of like toxic. I don't know, he makes good games, so I don't care, but he's just kind of, I remember him being kind of toxic and gross. Not like in a good way, like he was kind of a real asshole. But Tower 4 is essentially the audio drama version of that. I mean, it's like it's so similar. Like I said, I almost wonder if Tower 4 came first. I need to go look and see maybe if they were writing it and they like collab some like a bit on that, because I mean they're literally like, if you've played Firewatch, they even have like these little caches and stuff with locks on them. They have those in Tower 4. Like it is friggin' identical. At least the first season. The second season goes off into other places, but so yeah, Firewatch is basically like you and Tower 4. They're similar. They're very similar. You are a new, like Firewatch, you hang out in the tower, for those who aren't familiar with it, and you watch for fires. That's your job. You live there. You live there and you just sit and watch the fires, and when there's a fire, call it in. That's their job. They also do some, not security, but they sort of keep an eye on what's going on, like in their little zone or whatever in the woods, just to make sure that people who aren't supposed to be there aren't there, and there's not people causing like starting like their own like campfires where they're not supposed to be, like things like that, to make sure people aren't hunting where they're not supposed to be. So a new guy gets to the tower, starts to see things, starts to hear things. He's got a radio. He starts hearing shit over the radio. He starts seeing shit. And it gets really weird and like supernatural. It's really good. Tower 4 is really good. I mean, I like Firewatch, so I like this. But the reason I bring this up, it's not necessarily survival horror. Tower 4 isn't. The reason I bring this up is because the people who make Tower 4 is Sevenland Productions, and they have several podcasts. And some of those are like survival horror stuff, which I haven't got to listen to any of this extra stuff yet. I'm really excited. So Paralyzed, the guy, I guess, who suffers from sleep paralysis, and starts seeing shit like in his dreams and in real life start to overlap. It's one of the most interesting things to me, like sleep paralysis and shit like that. It's called Paralyzed. I really like Nightmare on Elm Street, and I've always liked the idea of sleep paralysis being like out of body experience stuff. I've always been fascinated by that idea. So yeah, I have not listened to that yet. It's called Paralyzed. And then the one I'm really excited actually to jump into is End of All Hope, which apparently is an audio drama that follows 3 survivors as they trek across the country trying to survive an alien invasion, which sounds like chef's kiss, perfect. But already set the scene for me. Like, I cannot wait to listen to this. I cannot wait. This is literally like right up my alley. But yeah, it's sevenland.com is the website. It's cool. It's somebody put me onto this. It's really cool. They do some other stuff too. They got like one with a like it looks like a spaceship like crashes near like a military base. They got all this cool stuff. They do one it looks like a detective noir, and they do one for Game of Thrones, which is weird because that's been over for a while. And they do some other stuff too. They do all this other stuff. They do a 24-hour podcast? That's cool. But yeah, Sevenland Productions, everything I've listened to so far from them has been great. It's cool to find like another audio drama like studio outside of the people who do We're Alive, Casey Wayland and all those guys. So yeah, excited to get into more of their stuff. Tower 4 has been great so far. It's getting really weird. Not in a bad way, but yeah, definitely check their stuff out. We are going to move on to the House of the Dead remake. All right, so everyone here should be familiar with House of the Dead. If you're not, it's basically like a on-rails shooter. This is like one of the first that I could think of that I played as a kid. I'm sure there was some before that. I think the Terminator game was like that. They had a Terminator game that was an on-the-rails shooter. But this was the first one I can ever remember, especially in the arcade. It was like this in Area 51. And this game is famous for stealing my tokens and my quarters because it was very, very hard. But yeah, it's a zombie. You're just basically in a mansion full of creatures and zombies and things, and you have to shoot them all. And you get power-ups and different things, and there's bosses, and it's cool. So they put this game out for the PC. So I don't actually know. I'm trying to find. This might actually be like out. I need to verify this. So we weren't sure. I remember talking about this like a week ago or 2 weeks ago, and we weren't sure so they released this on the Nintendo Switch, and not only did news come sooner than expected, but actual release, various versions did as well, happening only a few weeks after. Okay, so I think this is out on the PC. I'm not sure if it's out on the PS4 or PS5 yet. But it is out on the Switch. I have played on the Switch. It actually is really good. And it is on PC. So they, in this article here, it's, relionhorror.com, sort of went over this. They really, really liked they really liked the PC version. The Switch version got pretty rave reviews too. It's really good. Yeah, Rely on Horror gave it like a 10 out of 10, which is kind of wild. Okay, so it's a pre-release build. Okay, so it's not actually out yet. Okay, got it. So this is pre-release. So this is not actually out yet. I wanted to verify that. So House of the Dead. So they are going to put it on a PC and they are going to put it on PS4 and PS5, which is awesome. So yeah, so we got confirmation essentially that these are coming to PS4 and PS5. That's cool. I don't see any dates on these, so we'll have to wait and see on that. That's pretty cool, man. And on the Xbox, I'm sorry. Got the lowest score on the Xbox, which is weird. I wonder if this will get released on. So there's no word on this. Okay, so it says it's available today on Steam, GOG, PlayStation, Xbox, and Stadia, and is on sale for so it is out. Weird. Okay, guys, so take that with a grain of salt. When you guys listen to this, it might already be out anyway. It's weird because in the article it said it was a pre-release version, unless that was like a version they got before. It's weird. But either way, it's reviewing really well. You guys definitely go check that out if you've never played House of the Dead before. It's really, really fun. Like I said, it's one of the first on the rails. Like essentially what I mean by that is you have like a cursor on the screen. It's like your crosshairs, and you move that around and shoot things. And then, like, when you're done shooting on the enemies in that area, it automatically walks your character to the next area. You're literally on rails. It walks you around and you clear areas, and it's neat. It's, like I said, it's one of the first ones I remember playing, at least in the arcade, that ever did that. Area 51 obviously was another one, and that, like I said, there was that Terminator game that I can remember that did the same thing. Except oddly enough, I don't remember playing that Terminator game like in the arcade. I think when I played it, it was like on the Sega, maybe. It was Terminator 2? 1 or 2? Pretty sure it was 2. But yeah, It's really cool, man. Highly recommend it. If you guys do end up playing it, let me know how your experience was. I'll be updating you guys next Friday. I'm gonna try and get on the PS5 and see how it plays on there. On the Nintendo Switch, it was really good. Yeah, that's that. The last thing I'm gonna talk about is it's a little controversial. So last thing I want to talk about. All right. I'm going to be careful I talk about this. So you guys know that Netflix is doing a Resident Evil live action show. It comes out in July. And okay. So they're billing it at, I don't even know what it's called. I think it's just called Resident Evil. They're billing it as, well, in the past, so far, they've billed it as a Resident Evil show that's like supposed to be Wesker's like story. And a guy, he's one of the main characters, I guess, and it's supposed to be about like him and his kids, and his two daughters, who I don't ever remember hearing about in the story ever, but it's okay. And I guess what happens to them, I guess, when Raccoon, like, in between Raccoon City going to hell and then, I guess, in the future, like, way in the future. So I was intrigued, but I was kind of like, I'm not really sure what's going on. And then, so the guy that, they cast Lance Reddick as Wesker. So, like, outside of the kind of strange, like, they're race swapping, basically. They're making Wesker a black guy, which I don't necessarily care about that as much as, like, the actor's really good, right? So I'm like, all right, whatever. You guys know I don't really care about that. I don't get bent out of shape. Like, whatever. I don't really care. As long as the actor's good, I generally don't care. It's a bit of a stretch because Lance Reddick's also, like, really old. Like, no offense to Lance Reddick. He's just older. So, like, it's kind of like, right? Like Lance Reddick's kind of old. Like, what are they doing here with this Wesker, right? But I was like, oh, okay, cool, whatever. Like, and then, like, I started thinking about it more and I was like, I don't know. Like, it's Resident Evil. I'm going to watch it. But, like, then they do stuff like this. So, they gave an interview. So Lance Reddick gave an interview where he said, what I loved about it was that it was the great kind of, it sounds weird, this great family drama and this great, like, apocalyptic action horror show. So he's describing this Netflix show as a family drama. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, listen. Resident Evil 2 is essentially a family drama. And Resident Evil Code Veronica is essentially a family drama. The whole goddamn series is somebody looking for their sister or brother or whatever, somebody else's sister. So, like, the whole goddamn series is a family drama. Like, the Alexis and Alexa, like, that's a family drama, right? Like, all of it's a family drama. I get it. Like, the Spencers and all of it. It's all family drama, stupid, right? So, like, I get it. But, like, this next part, though, kind of had, like, okay, so he says, he tries really hard to be a good dad. Basically, he's a single dad. He's doing his best to raise his two daughters while at the same time being this lead scientist for this multinational corporation that basically runs the world. Okay, listen. I'm pretty familiar with Resident Evil lore, and I don't ever remember Wesker ever being a scientist. Ever. Wesker was a cop, and he was also sort of he was definitely executive at Umbrella at one point, but like, we're describing Wesker as a scientist now. Like, like putting a needle into someone's arm does not make you a scientist. But it says, but being this lead scientist for this multinational corporation that basically runs the world, and he's, I don't want to say on the spectrum, but he's kind of on the spectrum. So, listen, not only does he describe Wesker as a scientist, but he also describes him having like he's on the autism spectrum. I mean, like, listen, if they just, I guys told you this in the past, if they explore like the stuff with Wesker and his family and how all the nonsense with Resident Evil 1 and all the nonsense with Resident Evil 2 like affects him, his mental health and his family, it's actually like the family, like I could sort of, I that might actually be interesting to see how that sort of, and like play like with the zombie stuff and the outbreak in Raccoon City and all that, like that could be interesting. But we're talking about a family drama as a Resident Evil show with a character who suddenly is like I don't know, what's the male version of a Mary Sue? Like, are we making Wesker like a Mary Sue now? Like, I don't understand. I don't get it. Wesker's not a scientist. You guys can just disagree with me in the comments. And I guess he's on the spectrum now. He's a research scientist. Like, I don't know. And then the guy who does the article here and Rely on Horror basically says, I've previously gone on the record as describing the series as fucking terrible sounding, but I have to admit the synopsis of the series' interpretation of Wesker has gone quite a bit ways past into becoming, and I rarely use this word, problematic. I don't. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. It comes out July 14th. There hasn't been any trailers for it or anything yet. There's been like some images teased and stuff. They're essentially saying Wesker is on the spectrum scientist who has trouble being a single dad. It's a family drama. And I'm just like, but the zombies and the like creatures, like, are we going to overthink this? I was just talking to somebody about this yesterday. I was like, you know what? I want to go to the movies and I want to see a space wizard punch a dragon. Right? At the end of the day, I want to see a space wizard punch a dragon. If I like want to see like family drama, like, I don't know, I'll go watch that. Right? Like, I don't go watch Doctor Strange to see him and his fight over custody of kids for 2.5 hours. I go to see space wizards fight space dragons, right? And like, I'm telling you, I've said this before, this Resident Evil show, it's gonna be like Halo. I'm telling you all, it's gonna end up being like Halo. It's like, who did you make this for? Who did you make this for? It's gonna be Wesker arguing with his daughters for like fucking 8 episodes, for an hour and 8 each episode. It'll be 8 hours of Wesker, who is supposed to be on the spectrum, apparently, arguing over scientific data with his 2 daughters, who will probably be Mary Sue's and be good at everything. That's how the show's gonna go. And I'm telling you, it will be like 4 episodes before we see a zombie. I'm gonna be like, I mean, I want to watch this for the zombies and the bioweapons and not the, like, fucking, I don't know, debating parenting, right? Like, I'm telling you, like, I just have a feeling the show, I just feel like it's going to be one of those shows where, like, Resident Evil fans are going to be like, who is this show for? And then, like, fans of Horror and Resident Evil are going to be like, who the fuck is this show for? Right? Like, I don't know, man. We'll see. This article makes me like, this article makes me worry, man. And this is coming from an interview, like, with Lance Reddick. So, like, they're done. I mean, I'm assuming they're done filming it. It's supposed to come out in July. Although it is Resident Evil, it's just like Halo. I'm telling y'all, I watched like the first 2 episodes and it was so bad, I could not finish it. That Halo TV show is really bad. There's been one gun battle. There was one gun battle in the first like 30 minutes of the first episode of the Halo TV show, and I got to like the 3rd episode, and there still hadn't been another gun fired. Not let alone a battle. Fired. A weapon fired. I was like, okay, are we gonna like have a Halo show with guns and aliens that blow up, or are we just gonna do like political intrigue? Like, what the hell is this? It's like, what is it? It's like Battlestar Galactica with none of the battle and just the Galactica. That's what I feel like this is gonna happen here. It's gonna be like Resident Evil. It's gonna be like the fucking Parent Trap or some shit with like zombies way off in the distance. We have to like really squint. You like really squint your eyes. You're like, oh no, they put a zombie in here. So that's what I feel like is gonna happen. But anyway, I'm done being harsh on this Resident Evil stuff. You guys know I'm gonna watch it. I'll probably watch the first 2 episodes, decide if I want to watch the rest of them. If it's really bad, I won't watch it at all. Or I'll watch it. I'll suffer through it for you guys. Suffer through it for y'all. But yeah, guys, that'll do it for the podcast. Immediately following this, we're gonna do song battles and like hang out and stuff. But yeah, that'll do it for the podcast, guys. Thank you so much. Shambling Horror Podcast, episode 12. Sorry if I was a little negative on a few things. I just, stuff gets my blood hot. Stuff I'm passionate about. But yeah, don't forget to leave me a review, good, bad, whatever. Wherever you get this podcast, and I will catch you in the next one, guys. Bye.